Hello, fans. I am absolutely jacked that college football is back again.
Hey, year two, Cardinal Pairadice, AC and JP, we're coming at you.
Let's get it on. All right, we're going to start. AC and I had an off-season trip to Las Vegas for a little team building skills. We found out that there is no I in team.
Except in the Ville.
That's right, baby. That's right, exactly. Anyway, so for our first Cardinal Pairadice show of 2015, AC and I are going to kind of touch on the new coaches around the league, around the football, the country. We're going to talk about some players to watch. Obviously, we'll talk about Louisville. We'll talk about some conferences. So we're going to touch on a lot of different things for this first show. It might take a little bit longer than normal. The first thing, AC, and I know this one's a little bit close to your heart, is Jim Harbaugh left my Niners, which did not make me happy. It was controversial. Went to Michigan. I love Jim Harbaugh, so I think he's going to do big things there. My boy John Parshall, I know he's happy about it too. What do you think?
I think Michigan fans are happy. 49 fans are a little sad, but you know he gets Michigan back on the map, gets them back to respectability. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I think Jim's a great guy. He'll get the most out of his players that he can possibly get. I'm not sure how much talent he has on the team this year, but he'll definitely get the most out of him he can. Also, James Franklin's in year two up at Penn State. James Franklin completely turned around Vandy. I mean, that program sucked for a long time, and he did a great job getting those guys turned around. Obviously, I'm not sure what happened on Saturday because Temple came in there and took care of business.
Well, he better get it going there, or he'll be his stay in Happy Valley or the Valley will be short if he doesn't get it going. They'll get Kurt Franklin to come in there and get him some churching up if James Franklin won't work out.
Yeah, and then Ohio State. I want to talk about Ohio State because we didn't have a season-ending show, and you know what? I give Urban Meyer a lot of credit. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but he did a great job. I mean, third-string quarterback Cardale Jones comes in and they win. They go through the playoff, first ever playoff, and win. They beat Alabama, then they beat Oregon, which I wasn't happy about. But you know what? Kudos to them. They did an awesome job and won the national championship last year. So good job, Urban.
Urban can recruit. I mean, I think he gets shortchanged as a coach, though. I think a lot of people think he's gimmicky, but he can flat out recruit and he can coach. I mean, he's a winner.
Mm-hmm. And you know, Ezekiel Elliott, their running back, is fantastic. He's back again this year. I would look no reason not to think he's going to have a stellar season again. I anticipate that will probably be the case for him. And kind of skipping around a little bit too, some players of note. There's a lot of preseason players of the year on the Naismith watch, but Trevor Knight at Oklahoma, the quarterback at Oklahoma, and Samaje Perine, their running back. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That kid's a beast. I mean, he's awesome. He rushed, I think one game he rushed for 300 or 400 yards last season. So he's a sophomore. He's back. Cody Kessler at USC. And then, actually, you know, Josh Rosen at UCLA, who's a true freshman quarterback, I think was the #1 rated quarterback in the nation last year, or at least in that Elite 11 camp. I think he was the #1 rated quarterback, and he had a stellar first game. And then TCU, ranked #2 this year. You know, and I actually thought that Ohio State did not deserve to be in the playoff last year. I was obviously wrong. I thought TCU deserved to be there. But, you know, Ohio State went on and beat everybody and won the national championship. So,
and you know what? That's the purpose of the playoff.
Yeah, that's right.
Give a team a chance that's really not supposed to be there, not supposed to win it. And Ohio State showed everybody that, hey, you know, they're #1.
Yeah, TCU's quarterback, Trevon Boykin, is back. And I'm not sure who's going to win the Big 12 between TCU or Baylor. Baylor has Shock Linwood back, their running back, and they also have Corey Coleman, their wide receiver, who is just jet quick. He can jump. He's got everything. He's a total athlete. So it'll be interesting to see who wins the Big 12. But I think it might be down to those two teams this year.
I'm still an old school guy. You leave Texas, Oklahoma. You know, Oklahoma State. All those teams out. You got the new guys coming in. So you know, Texas A&M moved to the SEC. So you know, it's up in the air now. But I'd like to see those traditional teams compete with Baylor and other schools, TCU.
TCU's just they just play great defense, and their defense tends to win games for them. They got a great offense now too, and then Baylor, on the other hand, Art Briles has done a terrific job, and he's that spread offense that just people have a hard time stopping. However, their defense was a little bit suspect last year, but I think they got John Chavis, I think, is their defensive coordinator. He's down there somewhere. I don't know if he's at Baylor or not, but anyway, he's a great defensive coordinator. And everybody always likes to talk about the SEC, but you know what? One guy that really impressed me last year was Nick Chubb for Georgia. Oh, goodness gracious!
Yeah, we saw that firsthand, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We absolutely could not stop him. And then Alabama's got a nice couple of running backs, Derrick Henry, and then Dak Prescott down at the quarterback down at Mississippi State. I'm not sure what's going to happen at Mississippi State. They lost a lot of guys that graduated most of their team, but they still have Dak Prescott. I'm just not sure he has around him. And then back in the Pac-12, Anu Solomon from Arizona will be a sophomore quarterback. That kid's really strong too. He had a great freshman year last year. And then the Ducks, everybody knows I like the Ducks. Michael Boydman, a good friend of mine. He knows I like the Ducks. My boy, Nick Papagiorgio, Scott Smith. So always got to talk about the Ducks. Royce Freeman, their running back, and then Braylon Addison's back. Braylon blew his knee out, I think, before they even seen like spring practice or something. But
now he's one of the better receivers.
He is, absolutely. Yeah. He's jet quick and jump, so he's going to be good. He's back for them too. Now we'll skip on over to the ACC. Talk about the ACC a little bit.
Dalvin Cook, he's back.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't think he was going to be back. He had some off-field issues. Allegedly had some incident in a nightclub or a bar or something, but evidently that stuff wasn't true. He's back on the team. And then you got James Conner, the running back from Pitt, who I really like a lot. James is an awesome running back.
He's tough.
The ACC has a lot of talent. ACC has a lot of talent. Yeah. Jameis Winston's gone from Florida State now, so I'm not really sure what they're going to amount to, but it's Florida State and they recruited well again along with Clemson. And speaking of which, the Atlantic Division, I think they had Florida State. This is how the experts picked it: Florida State, Clemson, Louisville, and NC State were the top 4 teams in the Atlantic.
And Coastal, I believe, is Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Pitt, North Carolina.
Right. So. Those are the top 4 teams in each conference. At least that's what the experts think. So I don't know. Clemson doesn't have Chad Morris again, their offensive coordinator. He's moved on to a head coaching job. But their quarterback Deshaun Watson's healthy. Of course, we knocked him out, I think, in the first quarter or the second quarter of the game.
It was pretty early in the game.
Last year, messed up his finger or something. Georgia Tech still has Justin Thomas. He's awesome. Couple teams. BC has John Hillman, that running back. He's really good. And we talked about James Conner from Pitt. And then, of course, we got Louisville. Our offense should still be solid because that's Bobby's specialty. But the defense, the D I think, is the key this year for us. Very seasoned on defense. Keith Kelsey and Burgess are back as linebackers, Sheldon Rankins. Then we got those transfers, the Georgia transfer, and those guys ought to be pretty solid. Josh Harvey Clemens, Josh Harvey Clemens had 2 interceptions on Saturday, so that was a big game for him.
Against the next Heisman contender.
Right.
From Auburn.
Jamie Johnson, whatever his name. Johnson was the last name, I don't know. But, he threw 3 picks, so 2 of them were to
should have been 5 picks.
I know. And actually, evidently in practice, Chucky Atkins has been the one that's picked up the most interceptions in practice, and he had that one. He let it get into his shoulder pads, and it bounced off his shoulder pads, or we'd have had 4 of them. So, injuries.
James Quick is, I think it's reported today he has a high ankle sprain, a severe sprain. It'll take him a little while to come back from that. I guarantee you he's going to be in the training room in the morning, evening, until he gets it. He's got a lot at stake this season, his breakout season. You want that guy to have a great year. Personally, I know the family. I love watching that kid play ball.
Well, you played with his dad, so AC kind of has the inside scoop there. So we'll real quick jump into who we think were our Dice players of the week this week. Mine, obviously, I thought that Bobby gave Reggie the hook a little bit too quick, but when Lamar got in there, Lamar Jackson looked a lot more decisive. He threw the ball. He's got a nice touch on his deep ball. He ran the ball extremely well. He's really fast. He made quick decisions. If he was going to run, he hit the hole. He took off running.
You know, him and Reggie are about the
They are
same
similar.
athletically. You know, but Lamar played with a lot more passion. You know, and I don't know if Reggie's still kind of feeling his way around, but he just kind of didn't look as decisive as he should have looked. But when Lamar got in there, I mean, it was almost a natural feeling. Mm-hmm. He played with much more passion, you know, and he wanted to win.
Yeah, and Louisville played great. I mean, they almost did come back and win that game. Defensively, AC, who do you think stood out on defense?
Well, of course, Josh Harvey Clemens. He's, you know, he's gonna make a lot of people forget about Mr. Holloman. Holloman had a lot of interceptions, but I think this kid plays with that passion on the defense. And I know it might have been a little personal with him in Auburn, him in Georgia, but that he plays with passion. He's good.
But he's 6'5", 6'6", so he's got a lot of height on him. He has really good hands because he caught both of those balls away from his body. He really looked good.
Yeah, great ball skills.
Yeah.
I look if he has a great season, I don't look for him to be here after. And I hate to say that this early, but the kid is good.
Yeah, we made a mistake last season, kicking off last season when Texas A&M had that huge game, and I was like, where'd they come from? These guys are back again, and they ended up, you know, they had a so-so season.
Yeah.
It was okay, I guess, but it wasn't great like that first game of the year last year. So, wide receiver talk.
Well, we got so many guys. You don't even know who's out there. We know James Quick. We got some of the guys, the newer guys coming in, Savage, and you know, we don't have a real number one tight end. We don't have, you know, it's just a whole new feeling, you know. And I'm going to give it a couple games before I have a real judgment on the guys. But you know, they're going to have some guys have to step up because Quick's going to be out for a couple weeks. But you know, we're going to see there were no glaring mistakes from the wide receiver. Mm-hmm. There were no bad drops. You know, one thing I do want to see from the offense is I want the old Bobby routes back. I want the crossing routes. I want 5 receivers going out, crossing. I mean, doing some of the things that we did in the past with Bobby. I think some of the newer stuff, you know, I don't like it. You know, I know Bobby knows what he's doing. I'm not questioning him. But I want to see some of those Harry Douglas routes, you know, some of those, you know, some of the Deion Branch crossing, all of the stuff that, you know, some of the stuff that we had before, you know. And defenses used to say, you know, Bobby's offense, you send receivers out, you would think there are 8 receivers coming out after you. So I would like to see that. I saw so many when we ran deep routes, I didn't see anything underneath. We would flank those running backs out of the backfield as safety, but we didn't have any underneath routes, and I kind of want to see that more. You know, some of the old Bobby stuff.
Yeah, Devontae Pete, I think, is a guy that I have my eye on. I thought he played a great game.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Lamar Jackson and Devontae Pete kind of have a chemistry already. So I think that might be an interesting combination to watch as the season unfolds.
I think he caught some balls, and he turned up the field, and with his speed, he's gonna be fine. Trayvon Samuels is Samuels. He reminds me a lot of Deion Branch. A lot. I mean, just what he does is tremendous. So he ran a couple crossing routes. While the few we ran, he caught those balls and got up the field. So.
All right, so that's good for that. Let's talk about our crapped out teams of the week. There's some good ones. There's some gold ones on week 1 already. And, you know, I'm not trying to pick on him, but Texas, I mean, I'm not sure what in the world is going on there, but that was a terrible performance. Now, Notre Dame is a good team. They got a great offensive line. They got a great defensive line. But, I mean, Texas only, mustered up 100-something yards of total offense or something that game. Yeah, 3 points.
3 points. You know, and you hate it because what's his name?
Swoops, their quarterback?
Charlie. I forgot
forgot
Charlie's name already. See that? See what happens when you leave Louisville?
That's right.
And I told somebody before, coaches who leave Louisville, they don't do well after they leave Louisville. And I really believe that. I don't know if it's a Louisville jinx or whatever, But you don't do good when you leave Louisville, But
Howard didn't. John L. didn't.
That's right.
That's right. They not.
Petrino didn't.
Yeah, Petrino. No, he didn't.
And I think they're going to force Charlie to start firing coordinators before they fire him. So,
there'll be some tough decisions there because he took most of his people from Louisville down there. So
and those are his buddies, too. So.
Yeah, they are his buddies. So we'll see. AC, who's your crapped out team of the week?
I'm going to go with Penn State. You go in the Temple, you let Temple beat you. That's not supposed to happen to Penn State, and they're not happy down in Happy Valley. I guarantee you that. So,
And then Kansas lost to an FCS team. I mean, I think that's like 3 years in a row an FCS team has beaten I call them Division I team now, so it's still what I'm going to stick with. But I don't know.
That's a basketball school anyway.
I guess it is. I guess it is. Yeah, they can't wait for basketball season. All right, so let's run on to the Paradise Picks of the Week. Another one of my favorite segments of the show. And there are some good games this weekend. My Ducks are traveling to Michigan State to play on Saturday in East Lansing. This is going to be a really good game because I'm not really sure how good the Ducks are going to be this year. They had a lot of changeover, a lot of turnover in players. Michigan State is again a solid team.
Top 10.
I'm going to call for the upset. I think the Ducks will get it done at Michigan State. Even though Michigan State almost beat Oregon at Eugene last year, I think the Ducks are going to make it 2 in a row.
Well, Michigan State's home. Ducks don't have a chance.
All right. So AC going to go with Michigan State. I'm going to take Oregon. Another interesting matchup. Oklahoma's playing Tennessee. We talked about Trevor Knight and Samaje Perine from Oklahoma, and Butch Jones has done a great job at Tennessee. So who do you think in that one?
I'm thinking Tennessee is they're tough. Butch has got them rolling. They put up a lot of points this first weekend, and they're going to beat Oklahoma.
I think Tennessee's going to win that game as well. Notre Dame and Virginia.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame. Virginia just doesn't have it.
Yeah, I'm going to take Notre Dame as well. So anyway, we're gonna skip on over to our game this week. We got Houston coming up this week. Should be an interesting game. Louisville, I think we'll win it. I think we'll even up our record here. Houston's pretty good. Yeah, Houston's a decent team though, so I think they'll be okay.
I think we overpower them.
And the only last thing we'd like to mention is thank you to Robbie Wine. A little shout out to Robbie Wine at Shavley Sporting Goods for these fresh shirts. We're very appreciative of that. Also, JP Mortgage Company and
Abby, Alternative Behavior Interventions. Those are our sponsors. They do a great job for us, and we'd like to thank those folks.
Grateful to all of them. Well, that wraps up our first show of our second season of Cardinal Pairadice. I'm JP.
And I'm AC.
This is Cardinal Pairadice, and that's how we roll.